on top of that, how silly would it be that you're paying 9,000 a
Oh, yeah.
year with just tuition fee, and you're literally not working to
Mm,
get the best out of it. You're not working to learn from those people that are willing to teach you. That's not really the best utilization of the money. It's not
mm,
money well spent, in my opinion, and I don't think
yes.
a lot of people would disagree.
Hello, 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 hello again, viewers. You are welcome to my channel where we learn from one another. Thank you very much for always coming here to like, to share, to subscribe, to support the channel in various ways. I really appreciate you. And today we have a wonderful guest. He's When you start to hear him, you will know what I mean by a wonderful guest. And he is someone who has worked very hard for his grades. He has just finished university. He's a software engineer and he finished with a first class. So you want to meet this excellent student, I would say, who is now doing wonders, who's going to tell us about how to become an A-star student. So the topic for today is how to become an A-star student. I'll invite on the screen Ridwan Ishola. He is here to talk to us about it. So young ones, listen. And if there's anyone you think needs to listen to this, call them in, share the video, like, and subscribe. I call on Ridwan, you are
Hello,
welcome.
everyone.
Thank you for your time.
Hello, Auntie. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. Yeah, it was kind to say the least. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. So could you please introduce yourself and tell us about your educational journey so far?
Yeah, just to add a bit more about what Auntie said, my name is obviously Ridwan, as mentioned. I just finished graduating from Queen Mary in London, and I'm now working as a software engineer. My journey is a little bit like it's not exactly straight because obviously I didn't just wake up one day and decided to end up where I'm at now. But it's literally when God leads away, like literally you don't need to worry about anything else because literally I'll take you through my secondary school from secondary school up till now. So throughout school, I've never been like too sure what I wanted to be. At first, I wanted to be a pilot, but then I started getting too scared of planes. So I was like, "Yep, I can't be a pilot when I'm scared of planes." And then obviously decided to be work in finance. Decided to want to work in IT. But then obviously people in my school, my teachers, they told me that like people don't really need that skill anymore because everyone knows how to use a computer, but they don't know that using a computer is not just what IT entails. There's more to it than just that. So obviously, my mind switched back then. So I decided I wanted to work in finance. But then when I finished my A levels with like all the subjects, deciding to go to university to study finance, one or two things happened where I had to like go back and like sort of like redecide. I had more time to basically decide what I wanted to do with myself because obviously at that age, it's far too young to decide what you wanted to do for like 20, 30 years. Now I look at it as a blessing, but at the time it was like such a big shock that, I literally have all the grades and like I now all of a sudden I can't go to university. But regardless, I saw it as like a free time and I decided to do something that I've never learned before. So then I enrolled at my local college and started doing software engineering and I fell in love with it. I was 100% sure that that was what I wanted to do. And obviously, through university, you learn more about the field, you become more knowledgeable, so knowledgeable, in fact, that you end up being a software engineer, as I am now. So, yeah, that's a brief introduction about myself.
Wow, that's wonderful. So you've been through quite a journey
Yep.
yourself. You started off with something and then you went off on a tangent
Yeah,
to
exactly. It's
do
a
something
complete
else.
opposite. Yeah.
And I remember those times then when your aim was to go into the IT field, but then we had teachers who were telling you contrary.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, so I believe it all worked together for good, even though they gave wrong counseling
Yeah.
at that time. Now
At the time, yeah.
I'm glad.
I made a way.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Oh, right. Thank you very much. Now, what does it mean to be an A-star student? What does that actually mean?
Yeah, I had a little bit of difficulty coming up with this because A star student, even though sometimes you're not getting the grades, but one of it is to do with hard work. But then obviously, let's focus on the grade now. I would say an A-star student is where your dedication is reflected in your academic results. So that's why I started off that sometimes it's not to do with the grades, but in this sense it is. And to go delve into that a little bit more, like with anything, right? You need lots of practice. So, for example, the strongest man in the world spends a lot of time in the gym, like to practice to being like the best person. Like when you look at professional athletes as well, the best ones are usually the ones that have practiced the most.
Mm.
So an A-star student is usually one where sort of their hard work and dedication and all this practice that they've put in is reflected in their grade. That's why you're seeing their grades as high as they are. It's not because they woke up one morning and just like woke up and did exams and like just passed it easily. Some people are like that, annoyingly, but for the most of us, the normal ones, we do have to work hard and dedicate ourselves to like a trade before we can obviously call ourselves the A-star student that we hopefully will become.
Wow, wow. Well, I like that statement where you said, where your dedication reflects in your results. Wow.
Yeah.
But are there, in your experience being at uni and being a recent graduate, are there people who actually work very little and still get the results?
Well, it depends what you call a good result because there are some people that just passing is good enough for them. There are some people that obviously they want to get it first. So it depends. But obviously, with us, we want to get the best, right? So getting a first, you do need to put your graft in. You do need to dedicate yourself
Hmm.
in your field, in your studies, and you do need to fall in love with it as well. I
Okay.
wouldn't say that it's easy to. As this is not GCSEs now. You would not just get by just coasting. Obviously, to get the top grades, you need to work hard, but you can pass. I'm not trying to give like the wrong sort of advice out. You can
Yes.
pass. You won't get the best grades, but you
Hmm.
can pass. You can get the bare minimum by not dedicating yourself. But then that would
Hmm.
be a waste of time, wouldn't it? Because what's the point
Yeah.
of spending all that money and all that time? 3 years is not a joke. Um, not trying to be the best, not trying to get the best grade that you can, right?
Great, great, great. So you say you can get the bare minimum if that is what you really want to settle for. But if
Yeah,
you want to, whatever is worth doing at all is worth doing well. Thank you.
yeah.
That takes me to my next question, which is why should any student aim at excellence? Is
Excellence.
it really important from your experience?
It is very important, and I think everyone should make it a goal in whatever they do to aim for excellence, not just in education, but for now, since we're talking about education, um, it's very, very important for you to aim for excellence. And I'll give you a few reasons why. So, in education, it's one of the rare instances in life where you actually get taught for free, especially in the UK. But let's take
Hmm.
away the money now. You're getting taught by someone that knows a lot more than you. Very rare that you're going to come across that in life because for the rest of your life, life itself will teach you that you're literally left on your own to learn. But then in the UK, we're even having the added advantage that it's paid for us.
Hmm.
Imagine that. That's literally like a whole someone giving you a service. They're providing you a service to teach you to make you a better person, and they're
Hmm.
doing it all for free, basically.
Hmm.
So why not just make the best out of that? There are people out there trying to get the same opportunities that you're having for free. Um, and also, when you get older, you're going to be having to pay for like certain things. So after a certain age, these things that you're getting for free, you're going to be having to work for it. You're going to have to be paying for it. So
Hmm.
it's very, very important that you aim for the best. You aim for excellence when you're actually giving it like the service is being provided for you, because then that's obviously a wiser decision because you're using the time a lot better. You're using the resources a lot better, and obviously like the grades or the outcome of it obviously speak for itself when you actually aim for excellence because you're getting the best sort of grades after that.
Okay, okay, thank you. Though you mentioned learning for free. I'm not sure about that because you pay
Yes,
for your
at
tuition fees.
university, obviously, you need to pay. You need to pay for it,
Okay.
yes. But the main point here is that striving for excellence is very, very important because it's the best way to utilize your time and whatever resources. And on
Mm,
top of that, how silly would it be that you're paying
yeah.
9,000 a
Oh yeah.
year with just tuition fee, and you're literally not working to
Mm,
get the best out of it. You're not working to learn from those people that are willing to teach you. You're not willing
yeah.
to sort of like involve yourself with like the subjects. That's not really the best utilization of the money. It's not
Mm,
money well spent in my opinion, and I don't think
yes.
a lot of people would disagree.
Yeah, sure, sure. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
So what do you think, in your opinion, are the tips you will give to students to
Yep.
become the best version of themselves
Of
academically?
of
If they're not,
themselves.
if they are ones that don't want to settle for less, they want to aim high, they want to get to, get their goals, they want to get their grades, they want to get the best of jobs. And so what advice will you give, or what tips will you give to them to become
Y-
a best version of themselves
Yes,
academically?
this is a very good question, and feel free to add more in the comments as well. But one of the first ones that came to mind was asking questions. This is like not actually that hard in practice, but in your head, you make it bigger than it is because you get shy that, oh, this person's going to think I'm not smart or they're going to judge. But asking questions is the best way to become the best version of yourself, because sometimes there are people that are already there and they would literally imagine trying to find a way and someone already knows the way and actually has access to a shortcut. That's literally what it is like asking
Mm,
questions. So instead
mm,
of having to go through like the process of suffering of not knowing, you ask someone that already knows, like your teacher, and they obviously lead you through the right way. And the
mm,
second one is learning from others. So not only can you learn from your teacher, you can also learn from your friends. In your friendship group, there's always two or three people, at least one person that knows a lot more than you do. Those people, absolute gems. Learn from them as much as you can. And that sort of links a little bit into the next one, which is don't be disheartened when you don't succeed. It's very, very easy to become disheartened when your friends are getting better grades than you, or you're putting in a lot of work and you're not getting the grades that you think you deserve.
mm,
And that could actually lead you to give up and like give up the hard work, or you won't enjoy the fruits if you give up at that point. At that point, so do not be disheartened at all. And that's the next point. And the next one is practicing. So, as I mentioned earlier, most people that are the best in what they do, they practice, they spend hours and hours practicing. And there's a golden rule of the 10,000 hours point where you become an expert at what you do. But I'm not sure how true that is, but it's just like a general rule of thumb that people believe. Practice, practice, practice is important at being good at anything. And lastly, this is a very key one because it's very hard to practice something or spend all this time on if you don't treat it as your passion. So the next thing is to treat this as you should fall in love with it. Basically, you should see a good reason why getting a good grade is worth it. Because if you don't, then you won't. You're going to find it harder to spend all that time, and you won't be motivated to do it. So treat this as your passion.
True, true. Treat it as a passion. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, a lot to talk about, I'm sure. So,
Yeah.
viewers, you're listening. What are your tips? Maybe you've gone through, being an undergraduate and you're now a graduate yourself, and you've got tips as well that you want to add to it. Please feel free to add in the comments down below. Share the video, like, and subscribe. So, we would like to hear from you. Thank you very much, Ridwan, for um, giving us those tips. I'm sure there's so many more, and people are going to be writing in the comments. And if you've got any questions for Ridwan, you're struggling with a particular question, you're thinking, yeah, I tried this, I tried the questions, but then I got bullied, or I got what, you might have a bad experience with asking questions, or maybe you don't even know how to ask questions. You can ask in yeah start by asking asking the question of how to ask questions in the comments below. Yeah. So, and Rita will be ready to answer you. What are the difficulties or obstacles to performing excellently?
Yeah, that's another key question. And I think a lot of people would agree that the first point I'm about to mention is probably one that a lot of people they probably suffer from at some point. And that point is procrastination. So it's very, very like it's painful when you look back that like the amount of progress that you'd have made when in your mind you haven't just pushed off that work or that assignment to, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it next week, or I'll do it next month, or I'll do it when I come back from eating, or I'll do it when I wake up. Procrastination is the biggest killer of time. That's like one of the key sayings. So procrastination, you need to overcome it if you want to make sure that if you want to try and get the best out of yourself as you can. And this actually links into the next one, which is time. So obviously, procrastination kills the time that you have to actually spend time doing the right things. And it links into the earlier things that I said about practice. So when you don't leave enough time, you don't have enough time to practice. And obviously, with anything, if you want to be good, you need to spend a good amount of time on it. So when you don't, you won't get the results. And lastly, with practicing, what practicing actually does for you is that it helps you feel more confident in like an exam or whatever you're about to do. And it stops the next thing that I'm about to mention, which is stress. Stress doesn't help you. Stress is like one of the biggest killers of performance. So when you're stressed at something or stressed about something you're about to do, it's not going to help you. You're only going to perform worse. So that's probably maybe from not practicing enough. So this is this is like the reason why it's very important to practice because it stops stress and obviously it's a better way to manage your time and it shows that you're not procrastinating, right?
Yeah, yeah. Good. Thank you very much. Thank you. You've hit the nail on the head there with all that you said. Thank you very much. And I'm sure there are viewers listening and thinking, oh, yeah, actually, maybe this is why I get stressed. I don't practice enough, or I don't give enough time for this and all that. Thank you very much. Yeah. So, what advice do you have for people who say, oh, this person's method doesn't work for me because I'm a night owl? Another one says, oh, I am an early bird. What's your opinion about that?
Yeah, my opinion is absolutely find what works for you. There are some people that truly they only work the best at night times, and there are some people that as soon as they wake up, their brain's firing up and they're ready to work. Find what works for you. But I'll give you one advice though: if you are a night owl, don't try and study on your bed. Do not. Make sure you're like in an environment where your learning is going to be encouraged. So maybe in a library. I'm not. Maybe you live on campus, for example, and your library is not too far away, or try and do it somewhere else that your bed isn't, because although you're a night owl, your bed's also calling you at night. So yeah, it's just something to be careful about.
I remember anytime we corridor, where are you? It's like, I'm in the library, always in the library, sleeping in the library. I'm sure. Sometimes I think, do they allow you eat in the library? Anyway, thank you very much. It was nice speaking to you. It was nice having this chat with you, and I'm sure
Thank you.
this video is going to be useful to as many that are have been thinking, oh, how do I excel in this? And there's so many videos to come about A levels, about gap year, about so many other things that people are asking questions about. So thank you very much for this time you spent with us, and I know you need to rush back to do some other things. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So there you go, viewers. You've heard it all, and I'm sure you've got questions, you've got comments. Please write them down below and let us share from your own experience or from your own tips. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you another time. Bye bye.